was interesting to see Catra kind of struggle with this idea of she actually hit the top ranks that she was trying to, and it still, you know, is kind of crumbling away. Hey guys, it's Kristen, and today we are talking about She-Ra and the Princesses of Power Season 2. So Season 2 continues the fight between the princesses and the Horde as we see Adora and her friends go up against Hordak and Catra, and we learn a little bit more about Hordak's plan and also some of the backstories of the characters that we've been following. Give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you like my videos, and drop down in the comments so we can talk about She-Ra and the Princesses of Power together. So first off, this season is way shorter than season 1, and from what I've heard, this was actually supposed to be one larger 20 episode season, and they decided to split it up on Netflix. So the first season was 13 episodes and the second season was only 7, and I think that you can definitely feel that difference, although I do think that it gave us more room to see these characters grow and expand upon their backstories, which is something that I really enjoyed. So we get to see Adora struggling to control her She-Ra powers and train, and we can see that Catra is still kind of in her head. We also get to see a lot more of the princesses that we were introduced to in the first season, and how if they work together, that really brings out this kind of like supersonic power that can do incredible things, like even grow back the entire woods. We actually get to learn Shadow Weaver's story, which I thought was really interesting, and kind of see where she originally came from, and we even get to meet Bo's family, which is something that I never really thought about, but yeah, we don't really know much about Bo and his parents and where he comes from. We learn that he has 2 dads, and that his whole family is very into history, and they're historians, and they have this huge library, and that Bo has been struggling pretty much most of his life because he's afraid to show his parents who he truly is, which is a warrior, a soldier, a maker, a builder, someone who is part of this rebel alliance and part of the Princess Alliance. And I think we got this great storyline with him where he comes clean to his dads and they really accept him and embrace him, and I think that that was a really great message about kind of like following your dreams and being your true authentic self. We do get to learn a little bit more about Hordak's plan, which definitely has something to do with like multi-dimensional gates, and that sounds really interesting to me. And we also see this dynamic between him and Catra. Catra kind of one-upped Shadow Weaver to become Hordak's, you know, right-hand person, but we learn that Hordak is the kind of person that he only trusts people that can help him, and he becomes really close with Entrapta and pushes Catra to the side. Catra has worked so hard to really make a name for herself in the Horde, and that kind of no matter what goes on, Hordak is just using people. I thought it was interesting to see Catra kind of struggle with this idea of she actually hit the top ranks that she was trying to, and it still, you know, is kind of crumbling away. I also really enjoy a lot of the characters in this series. Even some ones that I originally thought were annoying, like Seahawk, have some really redeeming moments in this season. I really enjoyed the back and forth that Seahawk had with Scorpia, and how they both kind of have a similar background. Both of them just really want to be accepted by everyone, and then they kind of come to the conclusion that they don't need outside approval. They will continue to just be themselves, be the best friends they can to people, and do their own things. And I really enjoyed that kind of positivity that a lot of these characters have, like Entrapta, like Scorpia. Whether they're on the good or bad side, they're just so positive and excited and happy. It's kind of just fun to see those personalities. Like whenever they're on screen, I'm kind of like, oh, this is so fun. They're both good friends, and you know, Entrapta is so passionate about science, and I think that that's a really cool message. I also really enjoyed the episode where they were kind of like playing a game in order to figure out what their plan was going to be to attack the Horde, and it kind of turned into like this Dungeons and Dragons type of game. And as we got into each person's individual storyline of how they wanted to go against the Horde, we got to see these different animation styles that were really fun and kind of drew us back to the OG She-Ra, and I thought that was really awesome. You know, they kind of were poking fun at it in like a way that felt like they were appreciating it and just giving us this really fun nostalgia. I think with this season we really got a chance to dive a little bit deeper into some of the characters that we haven't gotten a chance to learn as much about before, like Shadow Weaver, like Bo. We got to learn a lot more about the first one's tech. We got to learn more about Mara and a little bit more about the history of She-Ra, and so that was fun. I felt like this was a little bit more of an informational season versus like a lot of things happening, you know? There wasn't as many like cliffhangers or like shocking moments, but it was still nice to kind of get more of that history. So like I said, on the other side of things, not as much happened this season. I do feel like there were some fight scenes and things going on that didn't really amount to that much. There wasn't many resolutions or climaxes of this season, but I think that that was okay because I was enjoying just learning more about these characters. Although I will say 7 episodes definitely felt like too little, and so I hope that if the show gets a 3rd season, they can give it another like maybe, you know, at least 10 to 13 episodes in a season, because I think that that would really make this feel a little bit more fleshed out. When it comes down to it, I definitely had fun with the 2nd season of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. I liked seeing everyone kind of coming together, figuring things out, learning more about the backstory, but I do think that I would love to see there be more episodes because I don't think as much happened in this season as it did in the 1st season. If you like my videos, you can check out my other reviews over here and drop down in the comments to continue the conversation. I can't wait to hear what you guys thought about She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. See ya!